This is a brand new 2024. It's a Jeep Wrangler Sport. This is the S model. It's got quite a few little extra goodies on it. A couple things. With the package on it's a 22S. So you get the aluminum wheels, you get the Gorilla Glass on the windshield. It's supposed to be a little bit stronger. It's supposed to last a little bit better and not crack as easy. Also comes with adaptive cruise control that'll actually come to a complete stop. So if you're following somebody and they slow down and come to a stop, the Jeep will do the same thing as you're following them. And then when you take off, you just got to hit resume again and it'll go back up to the speed. Also comes with keyless entry, comes with the hardtop. We added on this one, it's the Freedom hardtop. And we also put the cool 1941 hood decal on there. We're going to take a look at that when we start doing the walk around. Standard stuff that comes on the Wrangler Sport, you're going to get like the backup camera, you get all the skid plates like on the transmission, fuel tank, transfer case, that kind of stuff. Also has a dual zone climate control. Nice new touch screen too for this year. It's a 12-inch touch screen, so I'm going to show you that when we get inside. 6-speaker sound system. And it also has some off-road information pages, which are kind of nice. So let's start at the front of the Jeep here. We're going to kind of work our way around. Set my clipboard down here. So this is the hood decal I was telling you about. You can see how it says 1941 kind of etched right in there. Looks pretty cool. This is if you don't like it, you can just take it off. It's just vinyl. You can just take a heat gun and it'll lift right off for you. But I don't think I'd take it off. I think it looks pretty nice. Across the front, you got the distinct Jeep grille with the vertical bars, the nice round headlights. If you take a look at the headlights too, down in there, you can kind of see how the actual headlight bulb cover looks like a little Jeep logo. Always thought that was kind of a neat little touch. Down below, we got the fog lights built into the front bumper. You've also got your tow hooks here, so if you want to give somebody a tow, you can just put a tow rope on the top. Nice rims as well. Kind of a black pocket. It's the first time I've seen these rims. I don't think they were around in last year's model. I think this is new for this year. It's the first time I've seen them, so I think they look pretty nice, kind of that smoked out black look. Also, your fenders are all done in a black plastic. Okay, so nice thing about these is if you're out 4x4 and you kind of bash into one or wreck it or whatever, all you gotta do is buy a new fender and just bolt it back on again. You don't have to take it to a body shop and get it painted. They're relatively easy to do. You can almost do it yourself. If you're somewhat handy, you shouldn't have too big of a problem with that. These doors come off. You just pull these little pins out. These just drop out. There's a little socket set. I'll show you where that is inside. So if you want to take the doors off and set them in your garage when you're going 4x4 and you can. You see a pivot hinge here as well. So this front windshield will actually fold down. And it just kind of rests up here on these little bump pads. There's actually some straps that you can get where you can tie the windshield down so you can drive around with no window as well. The hardtop, this is the Freedom hardtop. I generally speaking order these with the hardtop model. They're really easy to take out. You just pop these little levers to the side. There's 4 of them. There's 2 behind on this side of the roof as well. Basically, you just flip those over, and then the panels just pop out and lift out. And then you got this front part as a convertible. To take the back off, it's a little bit more. There's some bolts and stuff you got to use on the socket set, but it's a little bit more work to take that off, but it's super easy to use. Here's your little socket set that you use to take the doors off. I'll show it to you here. You can see how it's got like a little kit here. And then those are just your keys to fit in the bolt heads, and they just lifts them right off. There's owner's manuals and everything in there. Got a little inset here with a fabric, and then your dash vents. It's got some nice gold stitching, which is kind of cool. Floor mats are molded to fit, so they fit right in the way they're supposed to. You know, they're not just kind of some aftermarket thing. The seats themselves, this is your recline. You pull that strap there to recline the seats. To pull it forward, you just kind of pull this lever here, okay? And this will slide ahead. Now opens it up a little bit so you can get access to the rear seats. Rear seats, you can see 2 people back there. It's got headrests up top too as well. Those do flip down, which is kind of nice, and I'll show you when we get to the back seat how those go. But it makes it a little bit easier to see out your back window when you're driving. But you can fit 2 people back there if you need to. So it's a 4-passenger altogether. Kind of like a little 4x4 sports car kind of an idea. Power locks. It also has a little cargo net down here for like map pockets. Got a grab handle here to pull yourself up when you're riding or to get in, and you've also got a grab handle here to hold on to if you're driving around with no doors on when you're out 4x4. On the back of the Jeep, it's got the spare tire mounted to the back gate. You'll also notice that it's got a built-in backup camera right in there, which is kind of nice, so you can see what you're doing when you're backing up. I'm going to pop open the rear gate hinge here now. We're going to take a look at what's inside here. This glass just flips up out of the way. So in here we've got this bag. So when you take that T-roof off the front, this is where the T-roof would go. And you can see how it kind of shows you how it's strapped in here. You can kind of strap it all down into the back of the seats with the buckles and everything. So that's where this would go. The seats, if you want, you just pull that lever, okay, lift that up, And then the seat folds down. You notice how the headrests both flipped over, so they kind of tuck out of the way. And then this folds down, and then that seat just flips up like that. So I did all that with one hand, so it's easy. So now if you go grocery shopping, you get yourself a bit of room there. Now, it doesn't help you much, I guess, if you got kids in the back seat, but if you're just going by yourself, it's easy. In the back, it's got another storage bin down here to kind of keep some stuff out of the way. Little plug in here, you can take this off, you can hose this all down, and the water will run out through that hole, go outside. It makes it easy to clean. You also, underneath here, under this cover, we pop this off. That's where your jack and your tire are. And when you take the hinges out, or the hinge pins out, this is where the bolts go here. So you just set them in here, and that way, when you get done 4x4 and you got to put your roof back on, you got all your bolts and everything. These are the bolts I was telling you about to take the roof off. You just take that socket set we looked at, you just undo those. Okay, there's 3 of them on each side. The roof comes undone. We just disconnect the rear wiper. We can lift the whole roof off, set it off to the side, and then we drive around with no roof on it, no T-roof, and away you go. You're having fun for the summertime. So a lot of fun there. Just going to close the hatch here. On the back, you'll see down there's a tow hook. Okay. All right, let's go inside. We're going to take a look at some of the dash pieces, some of the grills and stuff in here. I want to show you some of the, or how the dash and everything works. It's got a power locks and power mirrors here on the door. The seat itself, you'll see it's got a couple extra buttons or levers that the passenger side didn't have. So you got the strap to recline the seat. You've got this lever, but that's your height adjustment. So if I pump this up, it's raising the seat up. If I pump it down like that, it's lowering the seat. Okay, so that's actually for a height adjustment. And then this is your lower back support. You spin this dial and it pushes out some support there for your lower back. Okay, so let's hop in here and fire it up and take a look at some of the other stuff. Now, this is the 4-cylinder turbocharger in this one, so it's got some pretty good snap to it, and plus with the 4-cylinder, it's going to get pretty good fuel economy. So we're selling more and more of these as time goes on. Really popular little engine. They're quite zippy. In fact, it'll hold its own against the V6 any day of the week. They're quite snappy. Automatic headlights, basically just put it in automatic mode, and as soon as it gets dark enough out, your headlights are going to automatically turn on. And this is how you turn your fog lights off and on, just by pressing that button. This is your dash brightness here. We can spin this dial up and down. What that does is just increases the light backing there so you can see better. Over here, we got the steering wheel. It's nice and leather wrapped, so it's super comfortable on your hands. It's like it feels good when you're holding on to it. This little touchpad here controls your dash screen. So you got a tack here, got a nice big speedometer, and then if I play with those buttons, we could scroll through a bunch of different screens in there, but it's going to give you like distance to empty, fuel economy, all that good stuff. So it's all kind of laid out right there for you. On this side, we've got our cruise control. So you got like a normal cruise here, and then this is your adaptive cruise if you activate it. So this just works like a normal one. You're probably going to end up just using the adaptive cruise though. And what you do is you set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and then you set how fast you'd like to go. And it'll maintain that speed unless you start to gain on somebody, then it'll keep that set distance. So it makes it a lot nicer on a longer road trip to use that cruise control. New touchscreen for this year. This is the new 12-inch, so it's nice and wide, easy to access. So you've got your radio station here and the heater controls there. So it's kind of a different layout. You can also scroll through different screens. You can set up your own screen by adding widgets and doing your own kind of stuff. You kind of lay out the template for however you like it. We can also join the radio station. So here's your all your music stations availability. You got Sirius XM, AM, FM. You can use Bluetooth as well. I do recommend that you download Apple CarPlay and Android Auto because it'll mirror your phone up here, and you can all your cell phone apps and stuff will show up here. So your Apple Maps will work on here, or your Google Maps, depending on what you're using. You can also use like Spotify, all your podcasts, all that kind of stuff, so you can access it all through there. Heater controls, you get your temperature, hot and cold, where you'd like the air to blow, right? You can just tap on there. There's also some buttons down below that do the same thing, but this is probably the digital version of it. Vehicle itself, this is where you set up all your settings. You can lay out your dashboard. This is the off-road pages we talked about. So you got your vehicle dynamics, what your steering angle is your transfer case locked or unlocked. Bunch of gauges here so you can read out your coolant temperature, oil pressure, all that kind of stuff. We've also got a pitch and roll, so it'll tell you how steep of a hill you're climbing or going down, that kind of stuff. So some pretty neat information there if you do lots of off-road driving. We go back from the off-road pages here. The other one is you got your control settings. This is where your backup camera is. So if you're backing up the vehicle, you can see what you're doing. You can access it through the touchscreen like I just did, or the other way of doing it is just put it in reverse. It'll automatically show up for you. And then there's your settings. And here's where you program the car however you want it. You can kind of go in here and access all your stuff. You can set it to like how long you want your lights to stay on when you shut it off, all that kind of stuff. So it's really customizable. You can get in there and kind of play with lots of different things. Down here you got your heater controls, temperature up and down. You can turn your air conditioning on manually if you want, just by using these buttons. That's your fan speed, that sort of stuff. We also have your auto start stop. You can turn it off and on through here. And we also have this button here, which is your hill descent control. So if you're driving off-road and 4x4, think of this like a cruise control for going super slow. Power windows. Up in here, you've got your USB ports, your auxiliary in ports. You got lots of access to stuff there. 2 high, 4 high. You can also go to 4 low just by shifting the levers. And then your automatic transmission just by popping it into drive. Here's your key fob. Lock and unlock. It's got a little blade key in there as well. You can kind of flick that over, so it makes it easy to start. If you want to use, or well, you don't use the blade key to start it, but you use the blade key actually to lock up this little glove box here. So if you had something stored in here and you had all your doors and your roof off, you could kind of lock everything up so nobody can get to it. So if you're in the market to get yourself into a little Jeep, these things are just a ton of fun. 2-doors are just a blast to drive if you're serious about off-roading. I can't think of a more fun car to own. So, and at the price point that they are nowadays, this is a pretty affordable vehicle again. So give us a shout if you want to come down and take it for a drive. We'd love to meet you and hope to see you soon.